starting a tad bit early, but I just want to make sure that everything is working okay. Hopefully it should be. There's the stream up and running. Yep, everything is working as it should be. The game audio is coming through, the chat audio is coming through. That's all fantastic. Well then, folks, just need to sit back, relax and chill for a bit. Wait until everybody shows up. And hopefully by the end of the hour, should be ready to go. But for now, we just wait. Still got a few more to wait for. Here we've got to wait for one of the Williams drivers, both Mercs, and a Ferrari. Ferrari's Huey, both Mercs are Crichton and Ford. The Williams drive I'm not sure, because I have no idea. Did you pray today? I've got no idea who that is. Well, they just left the lobby. So whoever that was, they have now disappeared. Oh, it was Seb. Oh, okay. That's who it was. I just noticed that Matt's asked him, do you mind changing your name? So then I know who it is. Which is awfully nice, but I think I probably would have worked it out once everyone else had joined. But still, it's nice. Alright, Huey has joined us. So that means we've only got both Williams and both Mercs left to join the session. Once they do, we'll get this whole shebang on the way, folks. Hopefully it won't take us too long. But even with the field that we have tonight, with the 4 drivers missing, it's already pretty stacked. Once those 4 other drivers come in, it's going to be a stupidly stacked grid for race 1 of the Tier 1 Championship. He's joined us. That's didn't change his name, but I know who he is, so it's fine. I know it's fine. Fordy's here, so we've got 2 left. There'll be Jinbin and Crichton. Hopefully it won't take us too long. Yeah, man, look at this grid. The amount of unbelievably fast drivers in this lobby is kind of freaking nuts. Hey, there's Jinbin. Crichton's joining the session, so there we are. All 20 drivers are here. Plus one little me. Watching the whole show and providing the story. Alright, shouldn't be too far away from the ready up signal being given. Got a few drivers readying up already. There is the ready up signal given by Captain Bags Liddell. the man in charge of coordinating this tier into this lobby. We're all set and ready to go. Hopefully the drivers see the ready up message and start ticking the yes button to get this race underway. You never know, madam. Fields as competitive as this, you never know. Might win one race. Definitely seen a few chaotic and dramatic tier 1 races before. Some unexpected winners here and there. Alrighty folks, let's get this underway. Hello everyone and welcome to the first round of the Pacific Tier 1 Championship here on Race Spec Esports. I'm Everingham, your commentator for this event, and for this opening round of the championship we'll be competing at the Red Bull Ring for the Austrian Grand Prix. Formerly known as the Austria Ring, this legendary circuit was created all the way back in 1969. The original 5.9 kilometer layout is somewhat different from what we race on today, thanks to the major track redesign in 1996 that was headed by none other than track-making Supremo Herman Tilke. The modern-day circuit on which we race on today measures up at 4.32 kilometers, consists of 10 turns and 3 DRS zones that lead into the prime overtaking spots of Turn 1, Turn 3 and Turn 4. Outside of those hotspot areas, drivers will need to be careful about the final 2 corners of turns 9 and 10. It's incredibly easy for a driver who is on the edge to push beyond track limits through that section. We saw it from Ryan Bell in the Elite Series race but a few nights ago, where he lost the opportunity to qualify on pole position during that event. And even the real life drivers but a few months ago also had trouble through that section. A lot of time penalties being dished out, a lot of track limit warnings being dished out. So it'll be something to keep an eye out for during both qualifying and in the race. Speaking of which, with it being a relatively short lap time and a well-used racetrack in online league racing, qualifying should be quite competitive. It definitely was on Sunday. It's little wonder then why people do regard this track as one of the better ones for racing on the championship calendar. Now, fascinatingly, we have a few drivers out on intermediate tyres. They're just running around the racetrack, just confirming their car setup, just giving themselves the opportunity to set a benchmark time for them to get reference to. They're not going to go out there and set a competitive lap just yet. We've got others out there on soft tyres like 40, like Ryan Bell. Batemate is out on track. Same with G-Force Nick, aka Wogboy. But I think the leading soft runner... Oh, it was Wogboy. Okay, fair enough. Might have to use him for our guided lap for the beginning of this qualifying session. We'll get rid of the tyre graphic for now, just to increase the viewing space a little bit. But yeah, some drivers out on inters just to try and set a banker, give themselves a nice little reference, try and gauge themselves on their other flying lap attempts. Here comes G-Force Nick getting ready to set or attempt his first flying lap. Around the final corner and onto the main straightaway. We'll take a tour with Nick. Guided tour of this 4.3 kilometer 10 turn racetrack. Up into turn 1, the famous Nicky Lauda curve. 4th gear, clobbering the inside curve, using plenty of the outside curve. As we head up towards turn 2, with DRS wide open, shifting into top gear, climbing a very steep hill up into the big braking zone of turn 3. Down to 3rd gear, chucking the car in, hitting the apex, slamming the accelerator at the exit. We'll now head down towards turn 4 with DRS wide open. Entry speed of 324 kilometers an hour. Bring it down to 4th gear, maybe miss the apex by just a little bit. Don't bother using the outside curve on the outside of 4, exiting turn 5 now, and into the left-hander of turn 6. Down the hill towards turn 7 and 8. A tricky little complex here. It's very fast left to right, and now we head up a small hill, over the crest, and into the final 2 corners of the racetrack, turns 9 and 10. Down to 6th gear, back on the power, down towards the final corner, 5th gear, 4th gear, back up to 5th, sideways. We'll open DRS up towards the line. It's a 1 minute 3.809. The first proper benchmark Set on the soft tyre. That's immediately beaten by 40. A 1 minute 3.675. G-Force Leo, Nick's teammate, is on a flying lap attempt, heading around the final two corners of 9 and 10. 6th gear, just like his teammate, down to 5th gear, not bothering to use 4th, like his teammate Nick. Leo crosses the line, 3rd fastest, a 10th and a half of his teammate. Bags Liddell in the Aston Martin this time around. This is his natural habitat in the green mobile as Huey jumps to the top. A Haas goes into pit lane, maybe a slight distraction for Bags as he heads out to the final corner with DRS open up towards the line. It's going to be a 3.7, 3rd fastest for the Aston Martin driver. His teammate is Spicy Salami. Both he and Bags are an incredibly consistent duo. They'll turn up every single race and more often than not finish every single race. So I imagine these two will do alright in the Constructors. Maybe a slight impediment from the Mercedes in front, less than ideal. As Luke Rockford jumps up to P3, Spicy invalidates his lap. It's going to be a 3.6. That would have put him P2 actually with that lap. And it's Crichton that was the car in front. He's actually just begun a flying lap. There's Ryan Bell. As I expected, he's jumped to the top with a 3.3. In qualifying during the Elite Series, he did a 3 dead at the end of qualifying. Unfortunately, he invalidated with at the second last corner. I didn't quite catch it at the time, but my colleague KD did. I couldn't quite believe it. He put together such a blinding lap. Crichton making his way around turn 4 using a bit of the outside curb as I believe Potsy has just jumped up to P2 with a 1 minute 3.406, less than a 10th off Ryan Bell's provisional pole time. Around turn 7 and into turn 8, hugging the inside line all the way around the right hand. The 2 corners to go for G-Force Crichton. Full width of the racetrack at the entry to turn 9, down the hill and around the final corner of 10. Onto the main straightaway with DRS open. It's going to be a 1 minute 3.568, 3rd fastest in the session so far. Big Al, a defending drivers champion, making his way up the hill towards turn 3. Big braking zone here, braking at the 100 board, bringing it all the way down to 3rd gear, back on the power nice and easy. Eventually reaching full throttle, he'll open DRS and head towards turn 4. Now, DigiPray today is Seb in the Williams. He's making his way around turn 4 sideways, in fact. Straightens the car up just about. But he probably lost a fair chunk of time as his teammate Jinbin gets out of the way. I believe Big Mac has jumped up to P6 with a 1 minute 3.617. Team Big Mac is a thing once again, but instead of no, they weren't Aston Martin, Alfa Romeo colours. They're now in McLaren colours, in the vibrant papaya orange of McLaren. Big Al will make his way around the final corner. Very tidy run there as he crosses the line. It's a 5.72 P4, just behind Crichton by 0.004 of a second. Seb has invalidated his run. Jinbin on a flying lap attempt. Now he's done an 8.6. That was done on intermediate tyres, so it's not a proper flying lap attempt. He'll make his way up the hill towards the little kink of turn 2, more critically towards the tight hairpin of turn 3. He's up by 0.8 of a second, as you'd expect. What you might not expect, though, he's apparently purple to the first sector. Down towards turn 4. Jack Humphreys is just behind. He does a 15.9 to the first sector. We'll keep an eye on these two, see where they end up after they do their first proper flying lap attempts. Down the hill out of turn 6. 3.4 seconds up, so he's looking at a 5 flat, so he needs to find a bit more time here in the final sector to try and get up towards the front. Around turn 9, down the hill, big old lift, he understeered big time through turn 9. Up towards the line for Jinbin. 3.8, 14th fastest so far. 2 corners left for Humphreys. He did his first lap on the intermediate tyre. The Haas driver will cross the line to set a 3.246. He takes provisional pole away from Ryan Bell, who's on an outlap, getting ready for a second flying lap attempt. Spicy Salami getting ready for a run. You can see him riding the brake there before the provisional corner. Reason why you want to do that, it maintains tyre temperature really well. You don't have to weave about anymore, because you need to ride the brake a little bit. The sheer temperature developed by the brakes really heats up the carcass in this game, so that's all you have to do. Just ride the brake everywhere, you don't have to weave, and it will put your tyres into an optimal temperature range. Quite nifty. Tidy run so far from Spicy, as you'd expect. Spicy is an incredibly tidy driver, very consistent, very good in those endurance races that I've done a few times with him in it. Up towards turn number 6, 7th gear. Nice and very tidy through turn 6, round turn 7 and into turn 8. Full throttle, hugging the inside line. You have to hug it the whole way round. Ryan Bell, by the way, up by 64 thousandths to the first sector. Keep an eye on Potsy as well, as he's just started a flying lap. Spicy will complete a lap. It's going to be a 1 minute 3.610. He's into the top 10. G-Force Leo, he's well down. Potsy heading up towards the first timing intermediate. He goes 39 thousandths down to his PB. Ryan Bell, meanwhile, is almost 2 tenths up. He's looking at a 3-1 right here. If he nails the final sector, it might be a free flat. Chucks it in, round turn 9, through 10. Back onto the main straightaway. DRS wide open, up towards the line. It's a 2.9! A 2.9! With 7 and... almost 8 minutes left in qualifying. We're into the 2s already. Yeah, righto. Potsy on a flying lap, making his way around turn 9, down the hill towards turn 10. Gee whiz, I wasn't expecting a 2.9 already. We're already there. Potsy, 1 minute 3.326. He stays P3. FER Tom, he's down. Big Al, beginning a flying lap. Currently P6 with a 3.5. Oh, he's up by a fair chunk. Gee whiz, by a 10th and a half already to the first timing intermediate as we head down towards turn 4. See, Joker, I'm not going to do what you're saying in the chat. Okay, I'm the director of the show. Sorry, mate. There's times towards the top I'm keeping an eye out for. Big Al making his way around turn 6, down the hill towards turn 7. Clock says to the mid sector, he's up by 0.3 of a second. He's challenging for a top 5 here. He's got 2 corners to go with turns 9 and 10, shifting up into top gear, bringing it back down to 6th gear, back on the power, down the hill, and around the final corner of 10. Full throttle, almost immediately after the apex. It's a 3.2. He goes 3rd fastest. Crichton, not on a flyer. Rockford, not on a flyer. Huey, not on a flyer. T-Max invalidated his lap. 40, meanwhile, is up to the first sector. He'll make his way towards turn number 6. Down to 5th gear, back on the power, down the hill towards turns number 7 and 8. Still not up by a huge margin in the middle sector. He needs a pretty perfect final sector. We'll see what he can do. Reese Cohen, he's down to the first timing intermediate. Up a little bit in the second. 40 back onto the main straightaway with DRS open. Up towards the line. He improves by a 10th. He goes into the top 10. Reese Cohen, what about you in the Ferrari? Around the final corner, back onto the main straightaway. Up towards the line. P8 for the Ferrari driver. 1 minute 3.549. See here, Jinbin, well down. Matt Plevy, he's going back into the pits. So I'm guessing everyone's on an in-lap here. They'll get ready for their final flying lap runs. A little over 5 minutes left in qualifying. Yeah, I think everyone, just about everyone's coming in. Huey might be on a fly. He's definitely using battery. Down to 5th gear, back on the power, eventually reaching full throttle. Clock says to the middle sector he's up by a 10th, just over a 10th, as we'll make our way around turn 8 and up and over the crest towards turns 9 and 10. Shifting up into top gear, entry speed of 310 kilometers an hour, apex speed of 250. Makes you realise that's a seriously fast corner there at turn 9. Huey crosses the line, jumps up to P6, 1 minute 3.405 as Jinbin has left the session. Hopefully he'll be able to rejoin as soon as possible. I still can't quite get over. That's a 2.9. A 2.9. He's almost 0.3 faster than the next car. Around a track like this, around the Red Bull Ring, literally the shortest track in terms of lap time on the calendar, and he's got 0.3 in hand. Gee whiz. He was quick in Elite. He was really quick, but that's a 2.9. That's what that is. Alright, this is Seb in the Williams. He'll open DRS and head towards turn number 4. Brings it down to third gear. Nice and easy, back on the power, climbing up through the gears. We'll be interested to see what Seb can do. He's a pretty quick driver. 44.4. Yeah, that's in the ballpark. Apparently purple according to the mid-sector split. Up and over the crest, 2 corners to go. There's Huey in the Ferrari. He's going back into pit lane. So we head around the final corner and back on the main straightaway. Seb will set a 3.5, 11th fastest, just behind Reese Cohen in the Ferrari. So we have, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars in the 1 minute 3.5s. Yeah, that's pretty tight. In fact, from first down to last, that is a little over 1.1 seconds. That's how tight it is. That's the kind of game we're playing here at the Red Bull Ring. That is stupid. Alright, Nick's the first driver out on track, getting ready for his final flying lap attempt. We got a shade under 3 minutes left in qualifying. Jinbin has rejoined, thankfully. He should be able to get at least 1 attempt in with the amount of time we have left on the clock. Alright, this ought to be good. This ought to be very, very good, especially towards the top. The contest at the top is tight if you discount Ryan Bell's provisional pole time. Jack Humphrey's getting ready. Rockford's out on track. T-Mac's out on track as well. Got a few drivers coming out, as a matter of fact. Big Al's in a bit of a group. He's got Potsy, I think, near him. Yep, that's Potsy and a Red Bull, not Ryan Bell, so that must be Bait Mate. Getting ready for a run. Alrighty, Jack. Down to you, mate. You know the target. You know the gap. You just got to go get it. 0.3. That's what you got to find on this lap. Thankfully, I think you've given yourself enough time. If you screw up this lap, you can have another go. I reckon you just got to send it. Get your head down and absolutely gun it. Out to the final turn. He'll begin what could be his final flying lap attempt. Down towards T1. Entry speed of 320 kilometers an hour. Brings it down to 4th gear. Back on the power. Using all of the curb at the exit of the Niki Lauda curve. Up the hill towards turn 2. Towards the first timing intermediate. The clock says he's up only by 0.02 of a second. Needs to find a lot of time through the middle and final sectors to try and challenge Ryan Bell. Big Al getting ready. Potsy beginning a flying lap, making his way into turn 1. Brings it down to 4th, clobbers the inside curb, uses all of the outside curb. What about Big Al? Bit tidier, doesn't use as much outside curb. Humphreys, meanwhile, making his way around turn 6, down the hill towards the middle timing intermediate. He's up by 0.5. This needs to be a mega final sector, and he's got a problem. Look at the traffic. They're everywhere. And there's a Ferrari on the racing line, gee whiz! Around turn 9, down the hill, round the final corner of turn 10, onto the main straightaway with DRS open. Crossing the line, it's not enough. He'll stay P2 with a 3.1. Big Al will head towards the middle timing intermediate. Same with Potsy in P4. Clock says for the AlphaTauri driver, he's up, and by a decent amount too, by 0.2 of a second. Didn't quite catch what Big Al did in the mid-sector. We'll find out what he does at the end of the lap. Potsy with 2 corners to go. Round turn 9, down the hill, and around the final corner, turn 10. Back onto the main straightaway. Up towards the line for Potsy. It's not enough, but it's P2. What about Big Al? Is it enough? No. He only improves by 35 thousandths. Humphreys, is he done? He is done. Oscar King is done. He's invalidated his lap. Huey is up by 36 thousandths to the first sector. Crichton's up by 67 thousandths to the middle sector. Tom jumps up to P7 with a 1 minute 3.420. Crichton crosses the line. He jumps up to P5 with a 3.3. Huey with 2 corners to go in the Ferrari. Maybe a slight toe from his teammate in front. That's Reese Cohen down in P12. Around the final corner, Ryan Bell retires. Huey invalidates. He would have done a 3.3. He would only improve by 8 thousandths of a second. Nick is done. Is Seb done? He's not done. He's done now. That's a huge slide out of the final corner. Crosses the line, does not improve. Stays P15. Well, there you go. Everyone gave it a good hard crack right at the end of the session, but no one was touching Ryan Bell. He will take pole position for the first round of the Pacific Tier 1 Championship. A 1 minute 2.949. Whew. Not gonna lie, folks, that was a flat out qualifying session. So many words, so little time. That's what makes a Red Bull Ring so much fun. So, Ryan Bell takes pole position here at the Red Bull Ring by a decent margin as well. Almost 0.2 of a second to Potsy, who will start alongside him on the front row. Humphreys P3, followed by Big Al in 4th, and Crichton P5, Oscar King P6, Huey in 7th, Tom in 8th, Spicy 9th, Nick rounds out the 10. Then we have Luke Rockford, Reese Cohen, Batemate 40, that's 7, P15. Then we have Leo, Bags Liddell, T-Mac, Jinbin, and Matt Plevy starting from the back. Look at that. Just under 1.1 seconds, separating the entire field at the end of qualifying. But now, time for the race. Should be just as competitive as qualifying. Now, I don't think I've got a weather report. It is overcast. Certainly very grey skies out there. But for the moment, it is dry. Be interesting to see who starts on what. If we do have any wet weather, it will definitely influence what tyre you start on. But if it's a dry race all the way through, I'm still quite interested. Who starts on the softs, who starts on the mediums? Will there be any hard runners? I really doubt that. In a tier as competitive as this, I think you want to use the softest compounds available to you. Especially around a racetrack where you can make the soft medium work. So, yeah, I'll be keen to see who does what. Maybe someone towards the back might be a bit more audacious, maybe select the hard tyre to start on, because why not? They're towards the back, nothing to lose. So, it'd be interesting to see who starts on what. But again, it is overcast, or at least it looks overcast from the top right of screen. So... Alright. Hopefully this won't take us too long. And I do believe Formation Lab should be turned on, so we'll get a good proper look at who's starting on what for this event. Yep. There's the green lights. Drivers take off on their Formation Lap. I see a lot of mediums out there. I guess I'm wrong. Maybe soft medium isn't the way to go. It seems that the hard tyre appears to be a decent enough race tyre. At least for Tier 1 standards, that's for sure. In fact, the majority are on the hard tyre. Gee whiz. Soft's really that bad here at the Red Bull Ring now. There you go. Alright, medium hard is the strat to go with. Let's run through the order nice and quick. We've got Ryan Bell starting from pole position. He's on the medium compound tyre. Potsy is doing the same. He's starting alongside him on the front row in P2. Jack Humphreys, the first of the hard runners in P3. Big Al in P4 starting on the mediums, and Crichton in P5 doing the same. The following 4 drivers, Oscar King in P6, Huey in P7, FDR Tom in P8, and Spicy Salami in 9th. They're all starting on the hards. Nick and Luke Rockford in P10 and 11, They're starting on the mediums. Reese Cohen, P12, is starting on the hards. Baitmate is doing the same in P13, so is 40 in P14. Seb in P15 is the last of the medium runners. GeForce Leo, P16, Bags Adele in P17. Big T-Mac, P18, starting on the hard. Same with Jinbin in P19. And Matt Plevy, starting from the back, also on the hard compound tyre. So we've got 7 drivers on the mediums, 13 on the hard compound. Definitely majority hards. It's a decent size majority too. Fascinating. Be interesting to see how that all pans out. Get rid of that graphic for now and we'll get ready for the start. Oh yes, as per usual, we get this terrible camera angle of the start, so we'll have to pick someone out. I usually go with someone out here. We'll go Oscar Huey. Might ride with Huey. Outside line heading towards turn 1. Luke overshot his grid box, so he's been pushed back a little bit. Leo has done the same as well in P16. Rightio, all ready to go. 20 drivers on the grid, 36 laps in front of us, and 10 red lights. We're underway here at the Red Bull Ring. It's a nice start from Huey. It's a nice start from Crichton as well. As we head up towards turn 1, it'll be Ryan Bell who leads. Side-by-side action between Humphreys and Al. It's tight, but they make it through. Humphreys stays in third, not quite. Big Al's out dragging him, and Crichton's following suit as we head up the hill and towards turn 3. Crichton had a sneaky look, but didn't commit to a move. 3-wide action here into the hairpin. Everyone sorts themselves out pretty damn well, I must say. No obvious collisions from what I can see. Huey hangs on to 7th place. Spicy is right behind him as we head down towards turn number 4. Some side-by-side action here in the midfield. The 2 Williams cars are battling with each other. Seb's had a fairly average start. He's gone from 15th down to 18th. Not great at all. Rockford is in front of his teammates. FBR Tom, Cohen battling Baitmate. They're side-by-side through turn 7. They just about get it done. Or 40 is close in this too. Here comes Megvac, or T-Mac rather, looking around the outside. He wisely backs out of that as Matt Plevy and Seb. Oh, it's tight, it's tight, it's tight as they battle through the final corner. All in all though, pretty tidy start, I must say. Everyone's kept it pretty clean. That's very good. Person who's made up the most spots on the opening lap is T-Mac. He's up 3 positions from P18 up to P15. Very tidy start. But out in front, it's Ryan Bell. Potsy still in P2, only 3 tenths behind, and he's closing in, as a matter of fact. Not by enough, though, to attack into turn 4. Big Al now occupies P3. Spicy and Rockford are battling away through turn 4. Rockford gets in front. Spicy tries to fight around the outside. He eventually gives in and slots in behind the Alpine. So Rockford into P8. Spicy down to 9th. Round turn 7. Round turn 8. Up towards the final 2 corners on the racetrack. Potsy's giving Ryan Bell a bit of a hurry up here. 2.5 tenths is the gap. As we head back onto the main straight towards turn 1. Crichton sets fastest lap. Anyone beat it? Not yet. But Crichton currently the fastest car on track. Bit of a wiggle there from Potsy, but he now has DRS. Not closing in by a great deal. Now he is. Doesn't bother to go for the overtake though here at turn 3. Wants to plan this out. Huey under attack from Luke Rockford. Down the inside, it's tight. Bit messy from these 2 exiting turn 3, but they get it sorted just about. Potsy round the outside. Simple move there with the power of DRS. He now takes the race lead away from Ryan Bell. Can he pull away though? I find that doubtful. Huey, Rockford, side by side. Round the outside goes the Alpine. He's got the grip. He gets it done. P7 is his. Huey down to 8th. Oh, a bit of a wiggle though. Almost threw it away. Here's the Haas of Oscar King, then the Haas of Jack Humphreys. Hasn't been the greatest of starts, but he's on the hard tyres, so what do you expect? Everyone in front of him is on the mediums. Big Al just lingering behind, not close enough to do anything just yet. Unlike Ryan Bell, who is close enough to do something here. Up towards turn 3. passes the AlphaTauri down the inside into the hairpin. He gets back in front, but for how long? Huey gets back by Rockford as well. That was for P7. Potsy counter-attacks with the power of DRS. Gets back through and takes back the race lead. Nice little tussle between these two, with Al and Crichton following close behind. Humphreys and his teammate Oscar King, P5 and 6. They're looking pretty solid on those hard tyres. Rockford this time down the inside here at turn number 6. He moves back through. Huey is not giving up. Yellow flags are out. It's 40 in the Merc. He's made a mistake. He's fallen down to last position. Down towards turn 1. Potsy out in front. Oh, Seb, a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. The first of the race, and probably not the last, as Crichton runs wide. DRS open on the Red Bull. Looks to the inside here, heading up towards turn 3. Bombs it in, gets in front, rotates well around the corner too, but so does Potsy. He is right behind Ryan Bell. DRS open. Where does he look? Inside or outside? He's looking outside. He's on the grass almost. Oh, Bell. I thought he was going to fight down the inside. Instead, Potsy runs wide. Cost himself a little bit of time. But he keeps the lead just about. Good driving from the pair of them. But now Big Al. He's a little bit closer now. He's only 3/10 behind. There might be an opportunity for the McLaren to take the lead at some point. Crichton, he's just hovering behind as well. Can't help but feel that these two Haas drivers, they're going to play themselves in later in the race. They're on the hards right now. They're going to be so quick on the mediums in the second half of the race. They're going to be really, really tough to beat. Bell attacking into turn 1. Really close. Really, really damn close. And he's going to make a pass. He needs to try and do something different here, because it's just been a back and forth exchange between himself and Potsy. He gets past at turn 3, but Potsy with the... Ooh, a wiggle! Potsy with a wiggle! And he loses time to Bell. Well, there we go. There's the needed interruption there to allow Ryan Bell to hang on to the race lead. Crichton having a look around the outside here at turn 4. He doesn't have the grip to get that done. Big Al... he's got his nose alongside. That's tight. That's tight there at turn 5 as we head around turn 6, down the hill towards turn 7 and 8. So Bell's now got a bit of a cushion. He's got 6.5 tenths in hand to Potsy. That's bound to shrink though. We know how powerful DRS is on any game, on any Formula 1 game. Huey gets back by Luke Rockford. So this isn't over. Huey is doing a mega job on those hards, keeping this battle alive as we head down the main straightaway up towards turn 1. What can Rockford do? Well, I imagine he'll just slipstream pass. Oh, well, that doesn't help. A 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. He understeered wide just after the apex. He's having a look here. Gets it done. Huey has a look back there. Oh, he's got a hit from behind. I think that might have been Spicy in the Aston Martin. Gave him a serve up there at turn 3. Huey's now down to P10. Tom takes him round the outside. Oh, what a shame. Oh, and a bomb. A big dive bomb there from Batemate. Trying to overtake Spicy. They're locking wheel to wheel around turn 5. Up towards turn 6. The Aston has the inside line. Bate fighting around the long way though, trying to keep the fight alive as we head through turn 7 into the right of turn 8. They're still going at it, and this is for P11. They finally get it sorted. Spicy goes to P11. Huey down to P10 because of that little bump there at turn 3. It's cost him 2 places, one to his teammate and one to FVR Tom. Actually, speaking of which, Luke isn't done yet with the Ferraris. He might be done with Huey. He ain't done with Reese Cohen, though. Here we go. Down the inside goes Crichton. Pulls it up. Oh, he's pushed him off the racetrack there. Didn't give the Red Bull a great deal of room. Heading out to turn 3. That's very touch-and-go stuff there. Down into turn 4. Oh, Ryan had a sneaky look down the inside of Big Al. That was really, really tight there at turn 4. But he just about got it pulled it up. Just about got it pulled up. Didn't go into the back of the McLaren of Big Al. Some tight battling out at the front of the field. We've got tight battling in the middle of the pack too. Keep our eyes on the leaders. If there's stuff happening in the midfield, I'll try and switch to it as quickly as I can. But this leading 6 cars, this is the main story of the race so far. Potsy out in front, Crichton in second, Al in third, Ryan Bell, our pole sitter, now down in 4th place. Leo, a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings as Crichton, he has DRS shut. He doesn't want to attack into turn 3. Big Al says, thank you very much, I'll have a go down the inside here at turn 3. Drag race heading towards turn 4 now. Who's going to win it? Potsy doesn't have DRS. Crichton does, so does Ryan Bell. He's looking left and right. Crichton going around the outside here at the right-hander. Potsy not giving him a great deal of room, as you'd expect. Around turn 5, side-by-side action now between Crichton and Bell. Crichton having a look down the inside of Potsy at turn 6. Around the outside goes Ryan Bell. He might take 2 for 1. He will. He takes back the race lead, and he has the inside line heading towards turn 9. He has to send it in. He does. Crichton tries to fight around the long way, but he eventually gives in. How did that work? It's impossible. They made that work. Crichton trying to attack down into turn 1. He can't get it done. As someone's tumbling down through the order. Who is that? It's Cohen. He spun at the final corner. No safety car there. Oh my goodness me. That was the best overtake I think I've ever seen. As Rockford tumbles down the order. He's made a mistake at turn 1. How astonishing was that? Meanwhile, they're still going at it. Crichton takes back the lead. Potsy back up to P2. Bell down to P3. But he has DRS to play with. Crichton doesn't. Does Potsy have a go? No. No, he does not. He stays behind the Merc. In fact, we're getting a real nice look at that rear wing of the Mercedes-Benz there. Seeing all the detail that Codemasters put into that rear wing. It's very nice. Very nice indeed. Very nice halo as well on the AlphaTauri. Can we get another camera angle, please? Codemasters with Potsy? No. We're pretty stuck with that on board with Potsy. Okay, we'll go with Bell then as we head over the crest and down the hill into turn 9. Gee whiz, that was astonishing stuff from those 3. Through turn 6, 7 and 8, they somehow made that work. I don't understand. I don't. That is astonishing. And it's not over. It's nowhere near over. And like I said, keep an eye on those 2 Haas's. Humphreys and King. They're going to play themselves into this race for sure. Potsy having a crack down the inside into turn 3. Pulls the car up, gets it done. Clean overtake. Crichton, though, with the power of DRS, is going to try and get him back. Potsy covers the inside line. Crichton having a look around the long way as we head into turn 4. Overshoots the corner slightly, Potsy, but Crichton can't get enough rotation to try and battle the AlphaTauri driver there. Meanwhile, we have Huey and Tom battling. We have Batemate and Spicy battling. They're side by side through turn 5 as we head towards turn 6. A little look down the inside here. Batemate, Tom battling away. It's tight. It's very tight, but they get it through the corner. Oh, they almost touch through turn 7. They head around turn 8. Tom now under attack from Spicy. Where does Spicy come from? And now Seb's in this too. Seb down the inside of turn 9. And Seb magically takes P10 out of nowhere. Down the hill through turn 10. Batemate gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Like I said, we're going to see a fair few of those over the course of this race. Meanwhile, out in front, Potsy leading. Crichton second. No DRS on Crichton's car. Meanwhile, Al's close, but not close enough to go for a move just yet. He's just waiting, just being a bit patient here. Waiting for a proper moment to try and strike. Meanwhile, Batemate down the inside of Huey. He sends it in. Gets it done. Huey now under attack from Spicy Salami. Tom's tumbling down the order. What happened to Tom? He's off the racetrack there at turn number 3. Meanwhile, Crichton's taking the lead. There's action everywhere. I'm doing my best to try and keep up with everything. Bell defending from Al. Al can't get the position. Incident with Nick. He tumbles down the order. He has spun. Oh, he's involved with someone. Tom. They both had an incident at turn 4. Interesting. I wonder how that happened. Crichton in the lead by a 10.5 with Potsy in P2. Can Potsy... Well, what can Potsy do? He will take the lead back, that's for sure. These guys have been going back and forth all race. Down towards turn 1. Nicky Lauda curve. Or someone's coming into the pits. It's Luke Rockford. He's getting off those mediums, putting on the hard tyre. Fair play. And Tom's retired. He's retired in the pit lane. He's had enough for the race tonight. Round turn 3. Potty, will he just line up a move here at turn 4? I'm guessing he will. Here he comes. Down the inside. Simple as you like. Nice clean manoeuvre. Oh! Bell. Bell was completely sideways at turn 4. He somehow pulled that thing up. I don't know how he pulled that thing up. I'm not skilled enough to work that out. But he was completely sideways. He pulled it up and did not hit Crichton there at turn 4. Round turn 8 up towards turns 9 and 10. Holy mackerel. Okay. Just trying to gather myself up, try and work out where I need to look. We'll stick with Bell for a bit. We got a midfield pack being led by Baitmate in P7. He's got Huey, Spicy, Seb and T-Mac all in that train. A lot of them on the hard tyre. Bags Liddell gets a 3-second time penalty. He's down in P12. Here comes Big Al attacking Ryan Bell. It's a drag race up towards turn 3. Al has the inside line. Oh, but Bell fires it round the outside, trying to hang on to position. They're locking wheels, as a matter of fact. Slight touches, but they get through the corner A-OK. Bell hangs on to P3. Crichton takes the lead down the inside into turn 4. Potsy keeps his nose there, but Crichton gave him just enough room. Both cars got around the corner. No contact from what I could see, so Crichton takes the lead. Nice aerial shot here. Looking down at the racetrack as they head through turn 7 into the long right-hand sweeper of 8, up the hill towards turn 9. It's all about following the leader through here. Can't really gain too much time through this section. But again, those two Haas's. It's going to be a 1-2 for Haas at this point. They have put themselves in such a strong position strategically that I just don't see them not winning this race unless something bad happens. Of course, it is still... It's grey. Oh, I don't know if we got any rain inbound. Bell, Al, battling away. Potsy close, but he's not going to go for an attack just yet. Bell retakes... No, he defends third position. Yeah, he defends third position. Plevy overtakes Jenben. That was for P12. A bit further down the order. Down towards turn 4. No one going for position just yet. Luke Rockford on fresh tyres has just set the fastest lap of the race. A 1 minute 5.5 is the time he's set. No one else really in a position to battle, are they? Might have a look further back here just for a moment. We'll take our eyes off the leaders, have a look at the midfield pack. So we got Baitmate, Huey, battling for P7 and 8. Spicy just behind, and he has no penalties as well, so he's in a decent position here. Seb, Potsy and Crichton. What's happened here? Crichton's in. Alright, so he's the first to blink. He's going for the big undercut. And the undercut in this game is fairly effective. Fresh tyres really do make a difference in this game. No wing changes or adjustments. It's just tyres. So he should get some clear air here. Nick's come in as well. Pull it up. He does. Meanwhile, Ryan Bell down the inside of Potsy. He now takes the race lead away from the AlphaTauri. Down the back straight away towards turn 4. 10th and a half is the gap. Potsy not bothering to use DRS. Just going to stay behind Ryan Bell for a bit, I suppose. So we've got a lot of games being played here. Spicy, Seb, side by side, around turn 4. Almost making contact, but they get through. Seb moves up into P8. Spicy down to P9. Spicy got a run though. He's got his overtake switched on. Turn it off, mate. I don't think you need it on yet. He's still got his overtake switched on. Turn it off. No need it on, mate. You're just wasting battery. Oh wait, he's not actually using any battery according to that steering wheel. Maybe that's just a visual glitch. Maybe he wasn't using battery at all. None of the other leaders have decided to pit yet. None of the leaders have decided to pit yet either. Yeah, that sentence worked. Oh man, my brain is fried after that. After that overtake. Gee whiz, that was awesome. That was just pure awesome. Alright, Huey overtakes Bebe. Potsy retakes the lead. Big Al is closing in. Will he go for second? No, is the answer. He'll stay in third. So Huey now up into P6. Batemate closing back in. He won't overtake here at turn 4. Matt Plevy and Jimbin side by side. Jimbin will get overtaking. He doesn't have DRS assistance, so he can't really do anything. Alright. Back up to the leaders, I suppose. Pitting. Well, someone's in, and that is Potsy. Bell stays out. Al stays out. So Potsy in. You get off those mediums onto a set of hards. Through Nicky Lauda curve. Bit different working with these old tyres compared to qualifying tyres. So much less grip, so much more weight in the car. Much more difficult to drive. Oh, it's Bell's. Yeah, he's finding that out. Car not gripping onto the surface all too well. He was skating his way through turn 3. Big Al overtaking Ryan Bell. A change for the lead. Tidy overtake with the power of DRS. He moves through. Humphreys, hello, how you doing? Round the outside he's looking. And he gets it done. Well, that to me is a clearer indication than anything. Those hard tyres, I think that's the tyre you want to be on now. Looks like Bell's pitting in. Oscar needs to know that. Oh, is Oscar coming in? He is too. Interesting. This is the halfway mark. Why not? Why not? Keep an eye on that Mercedes of GeForce Crichton, by the way. Where is he? There he is, exiting the final corner, if I'm not mistaken. So, a fairly decent-sized undercut for Crichton. An extra 3 laps done on those hard compound tyres. Here comes Bell and Al coming out to the pits. Bags overtaken by GeForce Crichton. Crichton will try and take Matt Plevy here. Should be easily done, and is easily done. Crichton moves into 5th position. Now he's gained a fair chunk of time with that undercut, but he is set to lose it over the course of this stint. Fresh tyres really do mean a lot in F123. Be interesting to see how the strategies pan out over the course of this race. We've still got a long way to go. T-Mac's in. Batemate is in. Oh, nice and safe there from T-Mac. That's what I do. Always brake nice and early. Make sure I can pull the thing up. Last thing I want to get is a 5-second time penalty. Rock for the 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. I'd much rather lose a second in the pit lane entry than 5 seconds because of me being silly. So I can completely understand why you would take it nice and easy into the pits. Rockford up to P11. Leo slots in between T-Mac and Batemate. In fact, Leo might have a crack here down the inside here into turn 4. Turn 3. Gets that done from... Oh no, it's not quite over yet. We'll keep an eye on this. Drag race, old tyres versus new tyres. And yeah, Baymate's going to win that battle. T-Mac goes around the outside of Leo as well. To the Alfa Romeo down to P14. Meanwhile, Al and Bell. Al's now overtaken Bell. He's into P6. Potsy's overtaken his teammate Plevy, who's going into pit lane himself. Oh, 3-second time penalty for Seb too. The penalties... they're coming, and there's a lot of penalties up and down the field. So Potsy, 2.8 seconds is the gap between himself and Crichton. The gap between Potsy and Big Al is 3.2 seconds, and he has got Bell and King right behind. Bell's going to try and set up a pass here, heading up towards turn 3 with the inside line. He dives it in, pulls it up, rotates the car, gets it done. P5 is his. Batemate overtaking Rockford. Spicy down the inside of Seb. Seb tries to counter. They almost touch. I think they did. Spicy moving across. creating slight contact. Al and Oscar battling away for P6. Oscar around the outside at turn 6. Can't quite get it done. Big Al still fighting it out. And Oscar with the inside line through turn 8 gives himself the opportunity to try and pass here into turn 9. Bombs it in. Al tries to stay alongside, but he just can't. He doesn't have the grip. Oscar moves into P6. Al down to 7th. Huey in the pits. He now pits onto fresh, medium compound tyres. He'll go to the end of the race on those. Where will he come out? Will he come out behind a fair few cars, as a matter of fact? He'll come out behind Luke Rockford down in P12, but he's on fresh mediums. He's going to be rapid on those tyres. T-Mac overtaking Batemate. That's for P9. McLaren driver gets in front. He's now in the top 10. And on those medium compound tyres, he's going to be fairly strong. Oscar 7/10 behind Ryan Bell. I reckon this battle is set to intensify. Oscar's going to have a lot of pace with those tyres. Jack in. So he's gone fairly long on those hards. Will he go for softs? No. Medium tyres. He's just going to send it for 14 laps on those mediums. Send it for all they're worth. This ought to be interesting. This ought to be very, very interesting. Bags Liddell, new fastest lap. 1 minute 5.148. He's currently down in P14. Meanwhile, Seb, he's going for P7 on track. Can't quite get it done here at turn 3. He has to stay behind. T-Mac P9, Batemate P10. They're battling away. Seems like Batemate might try and set up a pass here into turn number 4. Down the inside, he gets in front. A tidy pass, clean overtake. All thanks to the power of DRS. Nick also overtakes Rockford. That's for P12. He moves up a position. Look at all these penalties, by the way. A lot of drivers with time penalties. Quite incredible. I think T-Mac. I also saw some flashing lights on the back of that McLaren, so I reckon he's fairly low on battery. I'll have a look. Yeah, 17, 19% now. He might try and save a bit behind Batemate. Focus on the final parts of the race. Just try and save a little bit of battery here and there. Humphreys, the gap is 5.3 seconds. Can he gain that time with the laps remaining? Doesn't have any DRS assistance to try and aid him as well. This is really going to be interesting. Seb down the inside. Takes P7 at turn 3. Spicy moves down to P8. Spicy is going to try and counter-attack, heading towards turn 4. Looking down the inside, he can't get it done. Stays in 8th position. Potsy's within a second now. Look at that. 8.5 tenths is the gap. So Crichton in the lead, but for how long? We know how powerful DRS is around this circuit. I'm sure Potsy will try and set up a move. I'm also certain that Crichton will do everything he can to try and hang on to the lead, or at least stay in the fight for the race win. Up the hill. No DRS. Look at that. That's the gamesmanship right there. No DRS. He doesn't want to pass here into turn 3. He knows full well if he does, Crichton will just get him back at turn 4. That's a tiny run through turn 3. Here comes Potsy. And Crichton just leaves the door open. Let him through. Crichton will do everything he can to just try and stay with Potsy. It's his best chance for a race win. He cannot let Potsy get away. Has to stay with him. Seb gets back at Spicy as well. He retakes P7. So those two are still going at it. We got battles everywhere here at the Red Bull Ring. Absolutely fantastic. Honestly, no major incidents that I've spotted either. It's fantastic. Down the main straightaway. It's now lap 26 of 36. 11 to go. See what Crichton can do here. He's stuck with Potsy. 3.5 tenths is the gap, and he opens DRS too. He shuts it. Gamesmanship again, just like we saw with Potsy a lap ago. King down the inside of Bell. The Haas driver moves in front. Bell fights back though with a brilliant switchback and gives himself DRS to move back through. Yellow's out. That's for Jinbin. Crichton stays in P2. Jinbin gets going. No obvious damage from what I can tell on that front wing, so he should be A-OK. Crichton 2.5 tenths behind. Just trying to shadow Potsy here. Let the guy with the fresher tyres do all the hard work. Stick with him. Bell doing the best he can to try and hang on to third, making sure Oscar doesn't utilise the sheer pace of those mediums. Meanwhile, a couple positions behind, Jack Humphreys has closed the gap to Big Al to 4.1 seconds. And it's cutting down corner by corner, lap by lap. So maybe Humphreys will play himself into this. Leo gets a 3-second time penalty. Here comes Oscar again, down the inside of Ryan Bell. Dives it in a bit deeper this time. Bell tries to switch back. Contact, light contact. They get it sorted though. Ryan Bell with DRS open. Can he pass the Haas? Big dive bomb down the inside. And he somehow gets it done. Now King's under attack. Al's looking down the inside at 5. He covers the inside at 6. What an opportunistic move there from Big Al. He makes it work. He's into P4. Bell bombed it into turn 4. He somehow pulled that thing up. And Oscar couldn't over-under him. He was stuck on the outside. Couldn't go anywhere. And in fact, because of his position, Big Al was able to capitalise and move himself into P4. And look, the train's forming again. The trains are forming again. We have Potsy, Crichton, Bell, Al, King and Humphreys all in a train. Yellow's out at Seb. Seb making a mistake at the final corner. Can't see any front wing damage. But he tumbles down to position number 13 after that little oopsie. Huey down the inside into turn 3. Can he pull the thing up? Ooh, it's tight. There's a little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact, but they get through. A-OK. Not a bad effort at all. Nick overtaken by Bags. Liddell. Seb trying to find a way through as well. He'll get the inside line, try and follow Nick through. Oh, pull it up. He does. Oh, wheel-to-wheel contact. Wheel-to-wheel. Seen a lot of wheel-to-wheel contact over the course of this race. It's kind of nuts. So now Nick is leading this train. T-Mac on the back of this. And as someone's rightly pointed out, T-Mac's got himself in a decent position here. No penalties next to his name. He needs to maintain that. Oh, yellows. Who's that? It's G-Force Leo. He's made a mistake. Back towards the front though. Crichton, Potsy battling away into turn number 3. Bell round the outside of Potsy at 3. And he gets the traction. He gets it done. He moves into second. Can he take the race lead? He's closing in on Crichton. Will he bomb it into turn 4? No is the answer. He stays in P2. Sideways though through that half. And he was quite sideways there. Oh, and a red light appearing at the back of Bell's car. He was low on battery. Let's have a quick rundown of the battery usage. Shall we? 41% for Crichton, 13 for Bell, 51 for Potsy, 65 for Al, 32 for King, and 8 for Humphrey. So Jack has spent a fair chunk of battery to try and catch up to the top 5, but he's almost there. Just needs to gain an extra second, and he gets within DRS range. Into the Nicky Lauda curve. It's lap 30 of 36. 7 to go. Up towards turn 3. The hairpin. Yellow's out again. I think that's Jinbin down in P16. Down the inside goes Bell. Gets it done. He moves into the lead. Potsy under attack from Big Al as well. Both drivers have a ton of battery to try and splurge. That's exactly what they're doing. But they can't get themselves into a position to attack. Tell you what, I really thought the Haasers would have played themselves into a better position, but the tyre advantage really just doesn't seem to be there. It really shows you how impossible it is to try and make moves when you're at the back of a DRS straight. It is so tough as Leo elects to retire in the pit lane. He's had enough for tonight. Track position is everything around a circuit like this where DRS trains are so prevalent. Because of King and Humphries being at the back, they just can't move forward, even on grippier tyres. Although now Humphries is here and he's on fairly fresher tyres compared to everyone else. Everyone 12, 13, 15. Humphries only has 8. Potsy moves through into the lead. Crichton, battling with Ryan Bell, heading towards turn 4. Here we go. DRS open on both the Merc and the Red Bull. Closing in on the AlphaTauri as we head towards turn 4. Crichton defending that inside line. Bell can't do the over-under, so Crichton hangs on to second. Has to use a little bit of battery at the exit of the corner, but he does indeed hang on. Reese Cohen, a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. It increases his total to 6. Around turn 7 and into turn 8. Crichton, what can he do? He's on older tyres compared to everyone else. Went for that massive undercut. He's only found himself again in the train, but this time at the front of the train, where he wants to be. I think Bell would be pretty happy with this position, as well as Humphries goes down the inside of his teammate. A little bit of teamwork there. Oscar knows he's on older tyres compared to Jack on fresher ones. So probably just helped him out, let him through, and let Jack try and attack the cars in front. Ooh, here we go. Down towards turn 4. Humphries, again, just doesn't have enough in the tank, even with those tyres. Can't do anything. Battling Huey, Spicy, out of turn number 3. Heading towards 4, both of them with DRS. Baitmate just in front of them. Huey overtakes. Spicy can't counter-attack. He stays in P9. Nick, Seb, dueling away into turn 4. Matt Plevy wants to have a crack here too. Side by side around turn 5, heading towards turn 6. Plevy trying to follow Seb as we head into turn 6. It's tight. They get through. Great driving. I think that's been a fairly common trend with a lot of the guys I've seen tonight. It's been very clean driving. There's contact, wheel-to-wheel contact. I don't know of anybody who has gotten wing damage from that contact. Here comes Humphries, trying to overtake Big Al around the outside here at the hairpin. Al can't fight that, I'm afraid. The better grip on Humphries' car. Just powers him past around the outside. His next target is Ryan Bell. Bell leaving the inside line open as he's trying to attack Crichton round the outside at turn 4. Crichton, can he cut across? He does. So Crichton hangs on to second. Bell hangs on to third. Humphries in 4th. Tumbling down the order is Seb. He moves down 2 positions. He moves back up 1. So there's a battle on for P12 as well. Over the crest, down the hill, into turns 9 and 10 once again. That's the kind of moves Jack needs to make. He needs to be deeper on the brakes. He needs to be more committed at the apex of the corner. He needs to utilise the grip to its absolute maximum to try and make these moves stick. Up the hill. Towards turn number 3. He's close. He has a little look. Does not commit. Oscar, Big Al battling away. Who gets DRS? Both of them do. Oh, that almost was nasty between those two. King looking down the inside. Al on the outside. Bell attacking Crichton. King attacking Al. It's all happening around Humphries at the moment. As we head around turn 6, down the hill, 40 gets a time penalty. 3 seconds next to his name. Matt Plevy tumbles down the order. He's involved in an incident with Seb down the main straightaway. That's a broken front wing, but it's lap 34, so I doubt we'll see a safety car or even a VSC at this point. It's going to be green flag from here to the end of the race, and it's Potsy who's out in front by half a second with 44% battery left in the tank, compared to a measly 13 for Ryan Bell, 33 for Crichton. Crichton now under a bit of pressure. Humphries closing in. Humphries going to have a look around the outside. Crichton having a look down the inside. Crichton again forcing Bell wide. Bell rejoins, and he's down in fourth now. Humphries trying to look to the inside here, heading towards turn 4. Crichton defending that inside line. Humphries. Oh, that is cheeky stuff. Oh, and into the wall goes Ryan Bell. He's into the wall. As Bell retires on track, he is done for today. Crichton forcing Humphries wide. Humphries lost it on the gravel. And Bell, an innocent bystander on the inside of turn 5, got slammed into the wall. And out of sheer frustration of the events that took place, he retires. Can you believe it? This is it, the final lap. Lap 36 of 36 here at the Red Bull Ring. One final shot for Crichton to try and take the lead. One final lap for Potsy to try and defend the lead. Down the inside looks Crichton. He dives it in deep. Forces the AlphaTauri wide. Crichton takes the lead. But here comes the Haas of Jack Humphries. It's tight stuff. Potsy's on the grass. Humphries dives it down the inside, forces the Mercedes wide, and through goes Potsy, back into the race lead. Humphries and Crichton hooked wheels, slowing each other down. The AlphaTauri took full advantage and retakes the lead. Out of turn 8 for the final time, 2 corners to go. What can Humphries do? Can he do anything? Round turn 9, down the hill and around the final corner. It's not going to be enough. It'll be Potsy who wins the Austrian Grand Prix. Humphries second, King in third. Al 4, Crichton rounds out the 5, followed by Huey, Baitmate, Spicy. So now Spicy's going to tumble down somewhat. Big Mac's going to jump up to P6 as a result. Have a look at the position changes here. Up 12. What an effort from Big T-Mac. From P18 to P6. That's what sensible driving does, folks. Clean driving, trouble-free race. Definitely driver of the day material. Huey P7, Baitmate P8, up 5 places. He did well. Spicy 9th. Nick rounds out the top 10. Bags Liddell gained 6 places over the course of that race. He did well. Reese Cohen, P12, followed by 40. Rockford down in P14. Matt Plevy rounds out the points in 15th position. But what a duel. It got desperate at the end of that race. They all went for moves you probably shouldn't go for. There's probably going to be a lot of deliberation post-race in the steward's room about what happened there. But for now, it's Potsy who is your race winner here at the Red Bull Ring. And it's a Haas 2-3 with Humphries finishing second. King completing the podium in third. What an entertaining race. The unofficial results then of the Austrian Grand Prix. Potsy is your race winner by 2.5 tenths to Jack Humphries in P2, and Oscar King completing the podium places in third. Big Al in P4, Crichton rounds out the top 5, with T-Mac in P6, Huey in 7th, Baitmate in 8th, Spicy 9th, and GeForce Nick rounds out the top 10. Bags Liddell P11, followed by Reese Coleman in 40. Luke Rockford P14, and completing the points is Matt Plevy in 15th position. Seb in P16, followed by Jinbin. Ryan Bell voluntarily retiring with only a few laps to go after an incident with Crichton and Humphries. Leo retiring as well, same with Tom. So 3 voluntary retirements. Bell is classified though in 18th position. Now again, normally I would invite the top 3 in, but I stream through PlayStation, so, and the top 3, they're all PC players, so I can't really invite them in. So, sorry folks, I don't think I'll be able to do post-race interviews for tonight. Holy mackerel. That was a race. That was definitely a race. Holy mackerel. All of those, all the top 6 battling pretty much all the way through. Start to finish. We had some really, like, probably the best overtake I've ever seen. Ever. During that race. And it all collapsed to drama right at the end. It was all drama, it was all incidents, it was all... Holy mackerel. The stewards have got a fair amount of work, I imagine. There'll be a few upset drivers. This guy, though, won't be. Potsy, I think, drove very well during that final part of the race. Was able to pick off his rivals quite well and hang on. He drove quite well from what I could tell. Of course, I might have missed something, who knows. But that was seriously... that was an action-packed, competitive, incredible race. So much stuff happened. Like I said, after that overtake in the middle of the race, my brain was fried. I couldn't quite believe it. And after all that, I'm totally done. Holy moly. A big congrats to our top 3. Of course, it's only provisional. I imagine there's going to be a lot of changes after this one. But man, oh man, that was an entertaining race. Not the way I think all of us wanted it to be, but it was quite incredibly entertaining. But I think, folks, everything's said and done. It's now time for us to wrap up the stream. Definitely tune in next week. This stuff isn't going to stop anytime soon. Hopefully the competition is just as good heading into round 2. Yeah, no. I think with everything said and done, now time for us to end this stream. I've been Lane Everingham. Thank you everyone so much for watching, and we'll see you next week for round 2 of the championship at Bahrain International Circuit for the Bahrain Grand Prix. That ought to be quite good, I'd imagine. Quite a good racetrack, Sakir. Should be a lot of fun. Until then, it's goodbye.